If you receive Social Security benefits, pause whatever you are doing and watch this immediately. Beginning April 15th, the Social Security Administration will implement a major procedural update, and millions of seniors across the United States still have no idea this change is coming. We are discussing adjustments that may directly impact how you receive your payments, how you confirm your identity, and what could happen if you do not complete the required steps before the deadline. This is not political commentary. This is not sensationalism. This is a confirmed official policy change, and the SSA will not be sending an individual written reminder to every single beneficiary. That means if you depend on Social Security for retirement income, disability benefits, or survivor payments, the responsibility to take action rests with you. In this video, we will break down exactly what is changing, who this applies to, exactly what steps you should complete before April 15th, and the potential outcomes if you do not. We have reviewed all of the official documentation, so you do not have to sort through confusing and ambiguous government language on your own. Whether you are currently receiving benefits or helping a parent or family member navigate the Social Security system, this information is far too important to skip. If you find this guide useful, and we are confident you will, please tap the like button right now. It only takes 1 second, and it helps us get this important information in front of every senior who needs to see it. All right, let's get started. Hi, I'm Jessica, and this is U.S. Immigration America. Before we dive into the details, I want to make something very clear. This channel exists for one single reason: to make sure you have the accurate, up-to-date information you need to protect yourself, your income, and your future. We do not make clickbait. We do not use unnecessary alarmism. What we do is take the complicated, confusing, and often frustrating world of government policy and break it down so that every single one of you can understand it, act on it, and benefit from it. And today's topic is exceptionally important, so please stay with me all the way until the end, because every single part of this matters. Let's start right at the beginning. The Social Security Administration, which almost all of us refer to as the SSA, has operated under the same general framework for decades. For millions of Americans, and especially retirees and people living on fixed incomes, Social Security is not just a government benefit. It is the foundation of your financial stability. It pays the rent. It keeps the lights on. It covers your prescription medication. It is the reliable monthly lifeline that tens of millions of seniors across this country depend on every single month, without interruption, without question, and without fail. So when that agency makes any change at all, it deserves your full and complete attention. And the change going into effect April 15th is not a small or minor adjustment. What the SSA has officially announced is a significant update to how they handle identity verification for all beneficiaries. And I want to be extremely clear about exactly what this means, because a lot of the coverage you may have seen elsewhere online has been either incomplete, confusing, or outright incorrect. This is not a change to your benefit amount. This is not a change to who is eligible for benefits. This is entirely a change to process. The method the SSA will now use to confirm who you are, verify your identity, and maintain your account. And in the modern digital environment, this process is being updated in a way that will impact every single person who receives any form of Social Security benefit. Here is the background you need to understand why this change is being made. Over the last several years, fraud targeting Social Security has become a very large and rapidly growing problem. Sophisticated organized criminal groups have been exploiting weaknesses in the old SSA identity verification systems to steal benefits, redirect payments, and create fraudulent accounts. Total losses have run into the hundreds of millions of dollars. Legitimate beneficiaries have had their entire monthly payments stolen. Real seniors have been left spending months trying to prove their identity while criminals cash their checks. The SSA and the broader federal government concluded that this situation could not continue, so they developed an entirely new system, which they will begin rolling out nationwide starting April 15th. This new system is built around what is called enhanced identity verification, and the primary tools being used are id.me and login.gov. You may have already used id.me if you have accessed other government websites or benefit portals over the last few years. It is a third-party identity verification platform that the federal government has been integrating into more and more of its services. What it does is confirm that you are who you say you are, using a combination of government-issued photo identification, document scanning, and biometric verification, including facial recognition. The stated purpose is to make it much harder for fraudsters to impersonate beneficiaries, because while a criminal can steal your social security number, they cannot easily replicate your face or produce an exact copy of your driver's license in real time. Now I can already hear what many of you are thinking. Wait a minute, I am 73 years old. I don't use facial recognition. I don't want some computer scanning my face. I set up my benefits 18 years ago and everything has worked perfectly fine ever since. Why do I have to do any of this at all? And that is an entirely valid, reasonable, and understandable reaction. That frustration is completely real, and I want to acknowledge that directly. The SSA has placed millions of people in the position where they now have to navigate a new digital process, very often with almost no guidance or support. That is not an ideal situation. But the reality is that as of April 15th, this is the process that will be moving forward, and there can be serious consequences for not completing it. So let's go over exactly what you need to do step by step so that you are fully prepared. First, let's talk about who this affects and how. If you are already receiving Social Security benefits and you already have an active, fully verified My Social Security online account, your situation is different from someone who does not have an online account at all. For those of you with existing verified accounts, the transition will likely only require you to re-verify your identity one time through the new system, and you are extremely unlikely to face any immediate interruption to your benefits. For those of you who have never created a My Social Security account, and there are millions of you, because huge numbers of people receive their benefits by check or direct deposit perfectly fine without ever logging into any website, this change is more urgent. Because moving forward, many SSA services that used to be available over the phone or by visiting a local office will become increasingly tied to online access and verified digital identity. Let's also talk about the current situation at SSA field offices, because this is very important context. The SSA has been operating under significant budget and staffing constraints for many years now. Staffing levels have been reduced substantially. Wait times at local field offices have become extremely long. Phone hold times have become notoriously bad. Some callers report waiting on hold for over an hour just to speak to a representative. In that environment, moving more services to online self-service makes logistical and financial sense for the agency, even if it creates real challenges for the people they serve. And that shift is exactly what this April 15th change represents. The SSA wants more transactions, more verifications, and more account management to happen online, because that reduces the load on their completely overwhelmed phone lines and field offices. Understanding that context helps you understand why this change is happening now and why it is so important. So what are the specific steps you should take before April 15th? Let's walk through this very carefully. The very first thing you should do right now is go directly to the official Social Security Administration website. The address is ssa.gov, not a website that looks like the SSA, not a sponsored link in search results. The actual official government website, ssa.gov. Once you are there, look for the section labeled My Social Security. This is your personal online account with the SSA. If you already have one, log in and confirm that all of your contact information is completely up to date, especially your email address and your phone number. These will be absolutely critical for identity verification and account recovery if anything goes wrong. If you do not have a My Social Security account, you will need to create one. And I want to walk you through exactly what that process involves, so you are not caught off guard. To create a My Social Security account, you will need to provide some basic personal information: your full name, your Social Security number, your date of birth, and your mailing address. You will also need a working email address and a phone number that can receive text messages or phone calls, because the SSA uses two-factor authentication to protect all accounts. Once you have provided your basic information, you will be prompted to verify your identity. This is where the new process comes in. The SSA is now offering two options for identity verification. The first is through ID.me, the third-party platform I mentioned earlier. The second is through login.gov, which is the federal government's own central sign-in system for all government websites. Both of these platforms will ask you to upload or take a photograph of your government-issued photo ID, most commonly your driver's license or state ID card, and then take a selfie or complete a short video verification process to confirm that you are the same person whose face appears on that identification. If you are comfortable completing this on your own, the process usually takes somewhere between 10 and 30 minutes, depending on how smoothly the technology works and how familiar you are with smartphones or computers. Now, I want to be completely honest with you. This process is not always perfectly smooth. ID.me in particular has received a lot of criticism over the years for being difficult to use, especially for older Americans, people in rural areas with slow internet connections, and people with disabilities. The facial recognition step in particular can be tricky if the lighting in your room is not good, or if the camera on your device is not working perfectly. But there is a fallback option. Both ID.me and login.gov offer the ability to verify your identity through a live video call with a real human being if the automated process does not work for you. That option takes longer, and sometimes you will need to schedule an appointment, but it is available. And if you are struggling with the automated process, please know that you are not stuck. There is also another very important option for people who do not want to or cannot complete the online verification process at all. You can visit your local Social Security field office in person and have your identity verified there completely. Staff at field offices can help you set up an account and complete the entire verification process for you. If you choose this route, bring a valid government-issued photo ID and your Social Security card if you still have it. Be prepared for possible wait times because field offices are very busy right now. If at all possible, call ahead or use the SSA website to make an appointment before you go. That will save you a huge amount of time. Now let's talk about something that almost everyone is confused about, and that is the option to do things over the phone. For decades, if you needed to do anything with your Social Security account, update your address, change your direct deposit information, ask a question about your benefits, you could call the SSA's 800 number and handle the entire thing over the phone. Under the new rules going into effect April 15th, that is becoming more restricted. The SSA has announced that certain sensitive account changes, and especially changes to your direct deposit information, will no longer be processed over the phone without a verified online account. This change was made specifically to combat the exact fraud I mentioned earlier, where criminals would call the SSA, impersonate a beneficiary, and change the direct deposit information to redirect payments to their own accounts. Moving forward, the SSA wants these kinds of sensitive changes tied to a verified identity, not just someone on the phone who knows your Social Security number and your mother's maiden name. What this means in practice is that if you have not set up a verified online account and you need to change your direct deposit, for example, if you switch banks or open a new checking account, you will now need to either do that online through a verified account or visit a field office in person. You will no longer be able to simply call and request the change. And this matters a lot because millions of seniors change banks, update their accounts, or go through banking transitions every single year. Understanding this restriction now, before you find yourself in an urgent situation, is extremely important. Let me also speak directly to a group of people I know are watching this video. Adult children and family members who help manage Social Security for an elderly parent or loved one who may have health challenges, mobility issues, or cognitive difficulties that prevent them from managing their own affairs independently. If you are in that situation, the April 15th changes affect you too, and there are specific things you need to know. If you are already an official representative payee for a beneficiary, meaning the SSA has formally recognized you as the person responsible for managing their benefits, your role and your access are not being eliminated, but the SSA is increasingly requiring representative payees to also manage accounts online, and the identity verification requirements apply to you in your capacity as payee as well. If you help a parent or loved one informally, meaning you sit with them and help them navigate phone calls or paperwork, but you are not officially designated as their representative, you may find it increasingly difficult to act on their behalf without formal authorization moving forward. This is a good time to have a conversation with your family about whether a formal representative payee arrangement or a durable power of attorney makes sense. A durable power of attorney in particular is a very powerful legal document that authorizes you to act on behalf of another person in financial and legal matters, and it can make navigating situations like this much, much smoother. If your loved one does not already have one, speaking with an elder law attorney about setting one up sooner rather than later is genuinely a very good idea. Now, I want to step back and address something broader, because I think it is very important. There has been a lot of anxiety in the senior community recently, and very understandably so, about the future of Social Security itself. Questions about solvency, questions about whether benefits will be cut, questions about whether the agency is being properly staffed and funded to serve the millions of people who depend on it. I hear those concerns, and I want to address them directly and honestly because you deserve straight answers and not vague reassurances. Social Security does face real long-term funding challenges. The program's trustees have projected for many years that without legislative action, the trust funds that pay for benefits could be depleted within the next decade, which would trigger automatic benefit reductions under current law. That is a real issue, and it deserves serious attention from Congress. However, and this is absolutely critical, the April 15th identity verification changes are not a mechanism for cutting benefits or removing people from the rolls. That is not what this is. The people who have been spreading that claim online are either misinformed or in some cases deliberately misleading you. The verification changes are about security, not eligibility. If you are currently eligible for Social Security benefits and you complete the verification process, your benefits will continue exactly as before. The goal of this change is to protect your benefits from fraud, not to take them away. That said, I do want to acknowledge that the way these changes have been communicated, or in most cases not communicated, by the SSA has been deeply inadequate. Millions of people have received no direct communication about these changes at all. No letter in the mail, no phone call, no email. Many people are only finding out through news coverage, social media, or videos like this one. And that is a failure on the part of the agency. People who depend on a critical income program deserve clear, proactive communication when that program undergoes significant procedural changes. The SSA has work to do on that front, and if you feel strongly about it, contacting your elected representatives, your senator or your congressperson, and letting them know that the communication from the SSA needs to improve is absolutely within your rights and is genuinely worth doing. Let's also talk about scams, because anytime there's a government policy change that gets a lot of attention, scammers come out of the woodwork, and they are already extremely active around this April 15th deadline. Here is what you need to know to protect yourself. The real SSA will never call you and ask you for your Social Security number over the phone. Think about that for 1 second. They already have your number. If someone calls you claiming to be from the Social Security Administration and asks you to provide your Social Security number, your bank account information, or any payment of any kind to avoid a problem with your benefits, hang up immediately. That is 100% a scam. The real SSA does not demand immediate payment to avoid a suspension of benefits. The real SSA does not threaten you with arrest for non-payment. These are standard scam tactics used by criminals to frighten older Americans into handing over money or personal information. Similarly, if you receive an email claiming to be from the SSA and asking you to click a link to verify your account before April 15th, or face losing your benefits, be extremely careful. The SSA does send some official emails, but they will always direct you to ssa.gov, the official website, never to a third-party site or a link that looks even slightly different. If you are not 100% sure whether a communication is legitimate, the safest possible thing you can do is close the email, open a completely fresh browser window, type ssa.gov directly into the address bar, and log into your account from there. Never click links in emails when it comes to your Social Security account. Let me also talk about something that has come up a huge amount in our community, and that is the issue of digital access and equity. Not everyone has a smartphone. Not everyone has a reliable internet connection. Not everyone is comfortable with computers. And it is completely reasonable to say that it is wrong to build a critical government system in a way that leaves those people behind. The SSA has stated that in-person and phone options will remain available as permanent alternatives for people who cannot complete the online verification process. And I want you to know that if you are in that situation, you have rights and you have options. Do not let anyone make you feel that because you don't have a tablet or don't know how to take a video selfie, you are somehow out of luck. You are not. Go to your local field office. Call the SSA's 800 number and ask specifically about alternatives to online verification. If you need an accommodation because of a disability or because of limited access to technology, say that explicitly. The SSA is required by law to provide reasonable accommodations. Now let me give you a clear, complete checklist of actions to take before April 15th, and I want to go through this slowly and clearly. Number 1, visit ssa.gov and check whether you have an active My Social Security account. If you do, log in, verify that your email address and phone number are current, and confirm that your direct deposit information is correct. Number 2, if you do not have a My Social Security account, create one. You can do this online at ssa.gov, or you can go in person to a field office for full assistance. Number 3, complete the identity verification process through either id.me or login.gov. Have your driver's license or state ID ready and be in a well-lit room when you attempt the photo or video component. Number 4, if you are helping an elderly parent or loved one, check on their account status and help them complete verification if they need assistance. Number 5, if you rely on the phone to make changes to your Social Security account, be aware that sensitive changes like updating direct deposit will increasingly require verified online access. Plan accordingly. Number 6, be alert to scams. No legitimate SSA communication will ever demand immediate payment or threaten your benefits if you don't act within minutes. There is one more thing I want to cover before we wrap up, and it is something that has gotten almost no attention in the mainstream coverage of these changes. It has to do with beneficiaries who receive their Social Security not through retirement but through disability, Social Security Disability Insurance or SSDI, and Supplemental Security Income or SSI. For people in these programs, the identity verification requirements apply exactly the same, but the impact can be even more significant because many people on disability have conditions that make navigating technology particularly challenging. Visual impairments, cognitive conditions, severe mobility limitations, these are all very real barriers to completing an online identity verification process. The SSA does have accessibility tools and accommodations available, but they require you to ask for them. If you or someone you know is on SSDI or SSI and needs help navigating this process, please reach out to your local SSA field office, contact a local disability rights organization, or look into resources from the National Council on Aging, which has been actively working to help seniors and people with disabilities through this transition. I also want to acknowledge the broader stress that moments like this create. When you are on a fixed income, when your Social Security check is the difference between paying your bills and not paying your bills, any uncertainty or disruption to that income is genuinely frightening, and that fear is not irrational. It is the completely reasonable response of someone who has worked hard their entire life, paid into the system for decades, and now simply needs it to work without interruption. My message to you is this: you are not powerless here. You have information, you have options, you have time right now before April 15th to take action and protect your benefits, and that is exactly what we want you to do. Use the resources available to you. Talk to your family members. If you have a trusted friend or a grandchild who is comfortable with technology, ask for their help. Go to your local library. Many libraries have staff who can help seniors with digital tasks. Go to your local SSA field office if you need in-person assistance, and please keep watching videos like this one and sharing them with the people in your life who need this information, because the more informed our community is, the better protected everyone is. Before we close out today, I want to address one of the most common questions we get, which is, what happens if I miss the April 15th deadline? What if I'm traveling or I'm dealing with a health issue or I just didn't find out about this in time? The honest answer is that missing the deadline does not automatically mean your benefits stop on April 16th. The SSA has processes for getting people into compliance even after a deadline passes. However, delaying does create risk, particularly around your ability to make account changes or access certain services until verification is completed. The sooner you do it, the better. Do not put this off. There is no good reason to wait. If you have already completed your identity verification and your My Social Security account is in good order, you can breathe a little easier but still watch for any official communications from the SSA and make sure your contact information stays current, because this is an evolving situation and there may be additional changes or requirements down the road, and that honestly is the larger message here. Social Security is not a static program. It evolves, the rules change, the processes change, and the best thing you can do for yourself, the single most powerful thing, is to stay informed. Watch videos like this one. Check ssa.gov regularly. Sign up for official communications from the SSA if you can. And if something doesn't feel right, ask questions. You have every right to understand how your benefits work and what is required of you to keep them flowing without interruption. We are going to keep covering every development in this story as it unfolds. If there are updates after April 15th, whether things go smoothly or whether there are problems that need to be addressed, we will be here to report on it and help you navigate it. That is our commitment to this community, and we take it seriously. Thank you so much for watching today. Please share this video with every senior in your life, a parent, a neighbor, a friend, anyone who receives Social Security benefits. They need this information. And if you haven't already, hit that like button right now, subscribe to this channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update, because in this environment, staying informed is not just helpful, it is essential. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will see you in the next video.